Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I've got something special for all my fellow cozy gamers out there. We're diving into the world of management games. We are going to be looking at managing cafes, kingdoms, schools and more. If I have missed a favorite cozy management game of yours, let me know in the comments so I can check it out for myself. The first game I want to show you is Minami Lane. I think I can call this game the pinnacle of cozy management. The goal of the game is to build a street. Just one street with houses, shops and parks. But it should be a happy and a nice looking street, because that's the only way cats show up. And who doesn't want to pet as many cats as they can? You can choose between doing missions or going into the sandbox mode. And in addition, you can choose between a more difficult sandbox where you still have to earn your money, or you choose the most relaxed creative setting with a lot of starter cash and nothing to hold you back. There is nothing to worry about here at all. No time crunches or bad things happening. No learning how the plumbing works or how to set up the electricity. It's not an issue on the street. As I said, zero stress. You can just relax and enjoy building and following the villagers. You start every day by adding a building or managing the existing ones. You can choose what is sold on the street and for how much. You even get to customize the product itself, choosing how much noodles should be in a ramen bowl, for example. And to know the perfect ratio, you just have to listen to the villagers. What makes it more challenging is that each type of villager has their own preferences. So you either try to find the golden ratio between the young and the elders, for example, or you cave in and just give them two different shops. The art style is adorable, and one of my favorite ways a game has been designed. Everything has this soft, almost hand-drawn look that makes the whole game feel warm. One of my favorite things is the thoughts the villagers share. You can see their little speech bubbles pop up with what they're thinking, and sometimes it's super helpful, like when they hint at what they'd like to buy, but other times it's just plain cute. There is also a nice collecting aspect to the game. As cute as they are, the villagers tend to throw trash on the ground, but thankfully they have me to pick up after them. And I actually kind of like the idea of keeping the neighborhood clean myself, and you also get paid for it. And I'll be honest, I'm not always the best at customization in games. If they have too many options, it can make me feel a little overwhelmed, especially if I cannot make my scenery look as nice as I would like to. But Minami Lane keeps it simple. You can tweak the shapes and colors of buildings and items without feeling like you're drowning in endless menus. The only downside to this game that I can think of is that it's just too short. I want more. No, I need more. More buildings to choose from, maybe a couple more villagers and new missions. So I will keep my fingers crossed for more content. The Wandering Village has truly captured my attention in a way that few games have. From the moment I heard the menu screen song, I was completely hooked. The music is so beautifully composed. It's peaceful yet captivating, and it immediately set the tone for what I was about to experience. It's rare for a game to create such a strong impression before you even start playing, but this one did just that. When I finally dove into the game itself, I was blown away by how gorgeous it is. It's one of those games that makes you pause and admire the scenery, and I cannot remember the last time I was in awe of a game's art direction like this. The way the landscape is painted with lush greens, misty blues and warm earth tones creates this breathtaking world that feels like home for some odd reason. But it's not just the visuals that made the Wandering Village stand out to me. The gameplay itself is very unique and engaging. You're building your village on the back of a giant creature called Onbu, and that alone makes for such an interesting dynamic. It's a blend of strategy, resource management, and exploration, but the twist of having to move with your home as the Onbu travels through constantly changing biomes adds a whole new layer of challenge. One thing I really appreciate is the difficulty choices. The Wandering Village offers two modes, relaxed, and survival. The relaxed mode is perfect for those who just want to enjoy the scenery and immerse themselves in the world without feeling the pressure of tough decisions, while survival mode is for those who crave a more challenging experience. It strikes a good balance, allowing you to choose the pace you want to take. One thing I have to mention is the camera movement. It's so original and at the same time so simple. It is incredibly smooth and fluid, and the way it shifts between perspectives adds so much depth to the experience. When you zoom all the way in, you're right there in the heart of your village, watching your people go about their day. Zoom out a bit and you're treated to a stunning view of Onbu, the massive creature you're actually traveling on. Pull out even further and you get a full world map that shows where Onbu is heading next. It makes managing everything at once so much easier, and also there is this nice cinematic aspect to it as well. I also love the way the game flows. Sure, there's always something to manage, whether it's resources, building projects, or making sure your villagers and Onbu are happy. But it never feels like the game is rushing you. It's got this really chill vibe where you can take your time to figure things out, especially if you're playing in relaxed mode. It's honestly kind of therapeutic, and I found myself just enjoying the process of watching my village grow at its own pace. This is one of those games where hours just seem to disappear. You sit down thinking you'll only play for a little while, and before you know it, you're deep into exploring new biomes or solving the latest challenge. If you're into games that combine strategy with jaw-dropping visuals and a calming atmosphere, The Wandering Village is definitely one to check out. Next up is 2 Point Hospital, a game that turns the serious world of healthcare into basically a playground of humor and strategy. Imagine running a hospital where patients suffer from conditions like cubism, turning them into walking Picasso paintings, or lightheadedness, where their heads are literal light bulbs. It's a nice blend of management and comedy that can keep you entertained for hours. The plot is pretty straightforward. You're the new administrator tasked with building and managing a series of hospitals in 2 Point County. Each location has its own unique challenges, from dealing with outbreaks of bed face to managing ghost infestations caused by patients who, well, didn't quite make it. The game doesn't take itself too seriously and has found a balance between management games and humor. It also eases you in with simpler hospitals, so you have time to figure out how things work. As you progress, the difficulty ramps up, introducing more complex challenges like multitasking across multiple hospitals. And before you know it, you are striving to perfect your healthcare empire. You are also given tons of tools to optimize your hospital's efficiency, so you will find yourself arranging rooms, training staff, and researching new treatments. And together with all of the DLCs, it is a lot to research and build. I definitely count 2 Point Hospital as a cozy game, but I won't lie, things can get a little stressful at times. Like when you got 5 ghosts haunting the hallways because your doctors are not quite up to standard yet. And then all of a sudden you hear from the loudspeakers that the clown pandemic has arrived. It's all part of the fun though. Even in those crazy moments, the game keeps its humor and never feels punishing, making it easy to laugh at the absurdity while you scramble to fix everything. 2 Point Hospital is perfect for anyone who loves management games with a fun, quirky twist. Its mix of strategy and humor really makes it stand out. And there's even more to look forward to in the 2 Point universe, with 2 Point Campus already out and 2 Point Museum coming up in March 2025. I definitely recommend checking them out. You might just find some new favorites. Now a game that's been my go-to for those quick gaming sessions. Good pizza, great pizza. Now I'm playing the mobile version of the game, and it's become one of those titles I pick up for an hour at a time, but keep coming back to over and over. You're the owner of a pizza shop, and your goal is to serve up delicious pizzas to your customers, meeting their sometimes impossible to understand demands. At first, it's all about learning the ropes, topping pizzas, managing time, and keeping your customers happy. But over time, you'll unlock new ingredients and challenges, which makes each session a bit more exciting and rewarding. What's interesting about Good Pizza Great Pizza is that it's not just about making pizzas, there's actually a bit of a story too. The game is divided into chapters, and as you progress through them, you'll uncover little snippets of narrative about your shop, your customers, and your journey as a pizza maker. It's not the main focus of the game though, so it never feels overwhelming, but it is a nice touch that keeps you engaged. You'll meet new characters, face different challenges, and see how your shop grows, all while serving up the perfect pizzas. And I have to say, some of the characters in this game crack me up. Each customer has their own personality and specific pizza requests. From the super picky to the extremely basic, you'll be faced with all kinds of funny orders. Next up, let's talk about potion craft. If you've ever dreamt of running your own little potion shop, brewing up magical concoctions and living your best cozy life, this one is for you. It's the kind of game where you can just vibe, experiment with different potions, and forget about everything else for a while. In this game, there's no big, heavy story to follow. Although I love a good deep story here and there, I really appreciate management games that find the hard-to-find balance between narration and gameplay. Potion Craft does this beautifully by giving you a purpose but not making you stressed about pursuing it constantly. You're an alchemist in a medieval town, and your job is to brew potions for the people who come to your shop. It's really just a laid-back experience where you get to experiment at your own pace. There's no pressure or time limits. Some of your customers are totally normal, and others, well, let's just say they ask for some questionable potions. But it's all up to you if you want to make some no questions extra cash or turn them away for the greater good. It's all about your choices, and that gives the game a fun little twist. You've got this huge variety of ingredients: herbs, mushrooms, crystals, and it's all about mixing and matching to figure out what works best. I really like the game's tutorial. It gives you just enough to get started without being too long or annoying, so you'll get the hang of it in no time. You will spend most of your time looking at the potions map and stirring your cauldron. On the potions map, you will be adding the ingredients to reach new potion recipes, which is a quite innovative way to create potions in a game. The art style is very charming. Everything has this old school feel, like an old parchment that you found in a medieval library. But even the developers themselves say that the art style is inspired by medical manuscripts and medieval texts. The whole thing just has this cozy, nostalgic vibe to it. It's a super creative game that lets you play around with ingredients without forcing you into a rigid system. The freedom to just experiment and discover is what makes potion craft so much fun. Next on my list is Cat Cafe Manager, a heartwarming game that lets you fulfill the ultimate cozy dream, running your very own cat cafe. The plot of Cat Cafe Manager centers around you taking over a cafe in the charming town of Catterwall Way. After inheriting the cafe from your grandmother, you're tasked with restoring it to its former glory. As you build up your cafe, you'll meet quirky villagers, each with their own unique personalities and stories. Along the way, you'll unlock new cats to adopt, upgrade your cafe with special items, and navigate the challenges of running a business. The plot unfolds as you connect with the townspeople, make strategic choices, and watch your little cafe become the heart of the community. One thing I really appreciate about this game is how quickly it gets you into the action. There's no long intro or slow tutorial to go through. You can start building your cafe and welcoming customers almost right away. It's such a refreshing change from games that spend too much time explaining everything. Here, you're learning by doing, and it feels natural and rewarding. The movement in the game is another standout feature to me. the character is so fast and smooth. So when you have a lot of customers, I actually feel like I am helping out my hired staff by zip-zapping around the cafe, taking orders and cleaning cat pee off the floor. And then there's the map system, which again I absolutely love. You can hop over to the shop to restock on ingredients whenever you want without the time penalty. There's no stress about customers leaving while you're away because it's all about letting you manage your cafe at your own pace, which is such a thoughtful touch. One of the coolest parts of Cat Cafe Manager is how the payment system works. Every type of customer has their own currency and it's directly tied to what you can buy. Like fishermen pay with, surprise surprise, fish, which you can use to buy cat care items like scratching posts or food bowls. Running low on something? No problem, just tweak your advertising. Need cash for new furniture? Invite the business people. Need more milk for the lattes? Bring in the witches. It's such a smart, fun system that makes every decision feel important and keeps the gameplay fresh. Speaking of decisions, there's so much creative freedom in how you run your cafe. You get to decorate and expand it however you like, from the layout to the furniture and even the menu. I loved experimenting with different setups to see what worked best for my cafe. Hiring and training staff adds another layer of strategy, and watching them level up and become more efficient is really satisfying. Now, the real stars of the game, of course, are the cats. You do not buy cats in this game, which I really appreciate. I am a strong advocate of adopt, don't shop. There's a wide variety of strays to adopt after you gain their trust over time. They each have their own traits that can help your cafe. Some are great at calming stressed customers, while others bring in more tips. And the more you play, the more quirkier the strays get. Not to spoil too much, but you might encounter some otherworldly ones, and they are just as adorable. Watching all of your precious cats curl up in a cozy corner or wander around greeting customers never gets old. In the end, Cat Cafe Manager is a perfect mix of management, creativity, and some cozy fun. It's ideal for anyone who loves cats, enjoys simulation games, or simply wants a laid-back experience. I highly recommend giving it a try. You might just find your next comfort game. Plus, with Cat Cafe Manager 2 on the horizon, there's even more to look forward to for fans like me and hopefully you. Moving on to the game, Yes, Your Grace. You step into the shoes of a king, running a kingdom and managing all the royal duties, marriage proposals, family drama, and more. But don't worry, it's not the kind of high-stress, combat-heavy game you might expect from a king's life. Instead, it's all about the small, quiet decisions that build up the fate of your kingdom, and that's what makes it so cozy. The plot revolves around you trying to save your land from ruin while dealing with personal matters like your daughter's marriages, alliances with neighboring kingdoms, and the growing threat of war. The cool thing here is that while you might expect a lot of political drama or combat, it's more about the human side of ruling. A lot of conversations, careful planning, and personal choices. You spend most of your time in your royal court, making tough decisions, listening to advisors, and trying to balance your kingdom's needs with your family's. When it comes to gameplay, it's a blend of resource management and narrative choices. Every day you make decisions based on the needs of your kingdom, like sending out your general, for example, or helping out citizens in distress. You manage your royal court and make sure that your kingdom is stable enough to survive whatever comes your way. You'll have to make daily decisions on if you want to help your people by sharing your gold with them or save it for something bigger. Of course, you can take your time. Reflect on what you want to do and ask for advice from your family or figure out which kingdom you want to form an alliance with. Yes, Your Grace has a very charming pixel art style. It's simple yet beautiful, with a softer pastel palette that gives the whole game a familiar feeling. The pixel art really brings this little medieval world to life, Because even at the brink of war, the characters feel warm and expressive, and it's fun to watch them interact as the story unfolds. Another cool thing about the game is that the story evolves depending on your choices, so no playthrough is exactly the same. You'll see different outcomes depending on how you handle your kingdom, which gives it some great replay value. Yes, Your Grace was made by a small indie studio, and is one of those hidden gems that really deserved more attention. The game's dialogue and decisions are carefully crafted, and you can feel that the developers really put a lot of heart into creating a world that feels alive, even if you're not battling dragons or fighting wars. There should be a sequel coming out soon, so make sure to keep your eyes out for that as well. I know that I am very excited. And last but not least, we have Let's School. When I started playing this game, I went in almost completely blind, and it turned out to be such a pleasant surprise. Instead of just being this faceless, managing entity, you are the headmaster of the school, and you have a character in the game as well. You can design how you look like and how you want to run your school. That small detail really pulled me in right away. It gave me this strange sense of responsibility, like I wasn't just overseeing the school but was actually part of it. The gameplay is all about building, organizing, and running your very own school, and I love how much control you have over how everything works. You're in charge of designing classrooms, hiring staff, setting up schedules, and even deciding what to teach. But what really stood out to me is how well paced the game is. Everything happens at a slower, more manageable speed, so I always felt like I had time to think things through. It never felt rushed or overwhelming, which is perfect if you're looking for something relaxing to play. What's also cool is that the game comes from the same developers behind My Time at Portia and My Time at Sandrock. If you've played either of those, you'll probably notice some familiar vibes like the attention to detail and the charming art style. But Let's School feels completely different in its approach. Instead of exploring and crafting, you're creating this thriving school environment. There's also a lot of depth here. You'll need to balance academics with student happiness, manage your budget carefully, and deal with unexpected challenges as they pop up. But even with all that, the game stays light and enjoyable. It's one of those games where you can just lose the track of time again because you're so focused on tweaking little things to make your school better. One of my favorite aspects is the research tree. It's surprisingly deep and gives you the opportunity to unlock new facilities, improve teaching methods, and enhance the overall experience for both students and staff. It adds an extra layer of strategy because you'll need to choose carefully what to prioritize based on your school's needs. I loved experimenting with different upgrades to see how they affected the school's success and vibe. It was also a nice surprise that in Let's School, every student feels like an individual. These aren't just cookie-cutter characters, they each come with their own quirks, strengths, and struggles. Some might shine academically but lack social skills, while others are magnets for chaos. You might even encounter students with behavioral hiccups that need your attention. Balancing their needs, whether through extra tutoring, better facilities, or a gentle nudge in the right direction, makes running your school feel personal and rewarding. Let's School is one of those games that gets better the more time you invest in it. Between navigating the ups and downs of school life and balancing your responsibilities as both headmaster and teacher, there's never a boring moment. It's perfect for anyone who loves simulation games but wants to maybe also feel a deeper connection to their virtual world. So if you're looking for a relaxing yet engaging management game where you can truly make your mark, Let's School is definitely worth a try. And that's it for today's video. Hopefully you found a new cozy management game here that you can now try out. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you next week, and until then, happy gaming!